And now,
it's 10 a.m.
Let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From two guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Heck yeah. Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Heck yeah, I want one of those, Joe. You better believe I want one of those. Welcome on into the show. We are live on location. We are in Ogden, 1155 36th Street. That's mine, Ben. Thank you very much. Yeah, appreciate it. What are you doing?
Why are you so loud?
You've got me way turned up. Why don't you just let Brant handle this?
No.
That's what he's here to do.
He can't
come
hear what
join
I'm
us, 1155 36th Street in Ogden, which we're super excited to be up here hanging out with the good folks at Belliston. Coach Mental is going to be here in person at 11:30. We're super excited about that. I mentioned the address, Ben, just to simplify it for people familiar with the Ogden area, as I know you are. We're on the corner of 36th and Harrison, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you could throw your shoe and probably hit the Weber State campus.
I guess technically the direction is west, though I know the road curves a little bit, so people might think it's a little different. Just west of the FedEx store.
Super easy
really
to get
easy to find us, yep.
Come by and join us, and there's lots of reasons. Of course, come see Coach in person and say hello. But as we were just talking about with Joe, we've got these Weber State rings that he's done. And
we also got a tennis bracelet.
Just wants to
I don't know, does that qualify as a tennis bracelet?
Well, it's a cool bracelet.
It's a bracelet regardless, yeah.
A Weber State
paracord bracelet
for coming by. So if you're in the area, we love getting up to Ogden. We've got great listenership up here. If you're in the area, just swoop by. You can say hi to Ben.
He's got a couple rings
and you can grab a Weber State ring, which is honestly, these are super sharp.
No, these are really cool.
They're really cool. So if you're a Weber State fan, if you're a Weber State student, if you're just an appreciateur of fine jewelry, then we encourage you to come by Belliston Jewelry. And it was fun talking to Joe before the show, Ben, and we'll talk to him throughout the show. But it's cool what they're capable of. They're super into custom. So whatever it is that you want or she wants, or they can do it. We were checking out the CAD system where they come up with the designs and put the wheels in motion, which is super cool. You might be able to hear the tools a little bit in the background. We're quite literally watching them do it. Yeah,
no, it's very cool. Come on down. Custom work, traditional work, whatever you're looking for, they really will take care of you. And again, man, you go to their Google reviews, and it's 5 stars across the board everywhere. So
super excited,
happy customers
to have them on board with the Jake and Ben show. Super excited to have Coach Mental. I was telling Brant, this is the first time I will have met Coach in person.
Do you know your ring size?
I have no clue. I told you when I got my ring, I got it 2 sizes too big because it's tungsten, so you can't resize it.
You had more faith in yourself?
No, I thought, I'm going to be heavier later.
I'm going to have to get the dish soap on. I got the test ring.
So come find out your ring size.
Yeah.
I got to imagine being right across the kitty corner from Weber State. You get a lot of people like, I don't know, Ben, I am not an experienced jewelry buyer, and so I was like super lost when I was buying an engagement ring. You know? I had no clue. Could have easily been swindled. I got to imagine having Belliston right across from Weber State. A lot of people like me are truly blessed.
Feel confident
because you can come in and you can really.
I just found out my ring size. What do you think? What's your guess?
I don't even know how they're measured. 3 inches.
9.
9 inches. Wow.
Well, I don't think that's what it is.
No.
I don't think that's what it is. Try that on. That's going to be way too big. Your tiny little fingers.
My dainty fingers?
No, your hands are bigger than mine. I got thin fingers. All right.
There you go, 9. I don't know. I have a bigger finger than Ben.
Yeah, clearly. Right.
You are the dainty one. What are you talking about?
My hands are always cold. They're so thin.
What is that, 12 inches?
Yeah, 12.
That's that one. That one.
What you got? It has a number on
it.
You
think I can read that?
Oh, yeah, right. He doesn't have his glasses. He can't see without his glasses.
Think I can? There's no way I'm going to be able to read that. Are you kidding me?
And where is his glasses?
Yeah,
he can't see without his glasses.
Thanks for playing that. It's exactly what I needed.
What size were we?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, he'll pull out the ring and we'll see.
I don't know.
All right. You know who's going to have huge hands?
Hands?
Mickey Mantle.
Mickey Mental?
Mickey Mental is going to have huge.
Turned British for a
10 and
second.
11. Oh, I'll
I'm
go with the
excited
11.
to see Coach Mental's hands. They're going to be.
We're hooking Coach up with one of these for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
His is going to have diamonds.
You ever shaken hands with hands?
Yes.
It's like shaking hands with a catcher's mitt.
Yeah. You're an NFL player. Yeah, you have
He's
to
an
be
also.
wired a little bit differently than everybody else does.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
So we are excited to be here. We are excited to see Coach when he gets here as well. Ben, how are you doing this fine day?
I'm doing terrific.
Yeah.
I honestly, the drive up here is wonderful. I love the scenery right now. Salt Lake doesn't, or Utah, I should say, doesn't get any prettier. It's just really, it's stunning. And like I said, we both love Ogden, and excited for another great week of football. There's basketball media days happening across the league right now for every team that opens their preseason internationally. Jazz will start next Monday, so yeah, it feels like we're getting into the full swing of the best part of sports.
I cannot believe the Jazz season is right around the corner.
Monday, media day, pretty incredible.
That's incredible. The fall is just awesome.
Yep.
With football and NBA getting started, I mean, it's just. I know some people are partial to like March. I'll take the fall.
No,
that's the best sports season is the fall.
NHL preseason games last night. Not that the Mammoth have looked particularly good yet, but it's preseason. Who really cares? Yeah, Major League Baseball is winding down. This is the last week of baseball until the playoffs. So yeah, this is the golden age right now. This is the golden era and the golden moment of the year to get ready for sports. I'm excited.
The golden age?
Sure.
Like the golden season.
The golden season. Yeah. Well,
the golden age?
Yeah. Sure.
That doesn't make a whole lot
right
of
now
sense,
it is.
Dude.
We got good BYU, good Utah, new hockey team. Jazz maybe aren't as golden as they once were, but yeah, things are fun.
Speaking of the drive up here, before we dive into things, and we'll get to football, of course. But you driving up here, I went the way where you drive by the mouth of Weber Canyon, and I nearly got blown off the road.
Okay.
Because of how windy it is at the mouth of Weber Canyon all of the time. And can I tell you the story of when I discovered this? Because I think it's at least somewhat funny. In 2002, when the Olympics were here. Christian, the Olympics were in Salt Lake in 2002. It was a controversial Olympics led by Mitt Romney. And he eventually
That's not why it was controversial.
catapulted that into a presidential run. Actually, to be the governor of Massachusetts before that. But, yes, the Salt Lake did host the Olympics in 2002. I went to the Super G, which was at Snow Basin.
Okay.
So the parking, because all the events usually you park somewhere else and they shuttle you in, right? So the parking was at the mouth of Weber Canyon. You had to get there at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Ben, I swear to you it was like 5 below. It was so cold. Throwing on parkas, so grateful for my long johns, like just really, I looked like the kid from Christmas Story, right? We get up to Snow Basin, watch the Super G. It was gorgeous. I'm not kidding, though. We were standing in a pile of clothes by the end of the event, just peeling everything off. And it was like, okay, well, the sun came up, so it got warmer, whatever. We get back down to the bottom of the canyon. It was 5 below again, and the wind is just nearly lifting you off the ground. I have no idea how people live at the mouth of Weber Canyon.
You know there's a golf course right there?
Is there really? I'm sure it's the windiest.
It's like half off before 8 a.m. because it's so windy.
Because it's so windy. It's got to be the windiest golf course in the state. And I'm sure there are positives to living in any neighborhood. But, man, as soon as you come to the mouth of that canyon, you know it because you get blown 3 lanes over.
Everyone's turning into
I'm
it.
coming over. It's not my fault. It's the wind.
So anyways, if you're going up to Belliston, maybe don't go that way.
No, you can go that way. It's fine. It's
lower the sails
I didn't
before you come through.
I didn't cause an accident or anything. It's just I just noticed it's always windy. I mean, you mentioned the Smiths at Canyon Rim or whatever. It's always windy there too. It's it's a mouth of the canyon thing. It's nothing personal.
Yeah.
That's just a lot of wind. That's all I'm saying. All right, Ben, where do you want to start? You want to start with college football, what we learned yesterday, the injury? I mean, the I don't know. Are they even officially describing it? Everybody's speculating that Devon Dampier has an injured ankle.
Well, a photo was released, yes, of Devon Dampier that had been deleted, and he clearly has a brace on his ankle, and it's not like a huge brace, but it's a brace nonetheless. And was he talking to Urban Meyer in that photo. I believe it looks like it's the back of Urban's head. But yeah, let's hear the cut on what they had to say about the injury.
Oh, he's doing the best he could. Wasn't able to practice Tuesday or Wednesday, a little bit Thursday. I'm going to tell you that it definitely impacted Devon. But if you're out there, you got to get it done. And so we never use that as an excuse.
And the University of Utah, or the athletics department, did have to send out a tweet yesterday, or maybe they didn't have to, but they felt compelled to send out a tweet yesterday that basically said, hey, we did everything by the books. There was never a doubt that Devon was going to play, so that's why he wasn't listed as questionable. But it does make you wonder if maybe somebody reached out from the Big 12 and said, hey, we've got these injury reports. You guys didn't report an injury that was clearly an injury in the middle of the week, to the point where he wasn't practicing on Tuesday or Wednesday. And I think, again, it just underlines how unimportant and how worthless these injury reports were always going to be.
Correct.
They're unenforceable.
No, yeah, Utah didn't violate any rules. Whether that's true or not, they didn't do anything wrong. Did he play?
Yeah, he played. Right, exactly. And does it violate the spirit of the rule?
Sure.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Welcome to college football.
Yeah, right.
Where the spirit of the rule is violated on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's the name of the game.
That's what. Why do you think he's so clandestine about injuries to begin with?
But I'm sure Utah's going to have Devon Dampier listed as probable on every injury report the rest of the way, just as a, I don't want to say middle finger, but as
troll.
As a troll job towards the Big 12. But yeah, that's what they're going to do. Just list him as probable every time, and that's going to be the reaction. And again, it goes nowhere towards helping you determine whether or not someone's going to be available to play.
What I don't like about it is the excuse part. And Coach Witt even caught himself doing it, right? Not to say that we. If you're not going to talk about it, then you can't use it as an excuse. I think that should be the rule. But they're embarrassed they lost, and they're embarrassed with the offensive performance, and so the natural inclination is to be like, well, look, he wasn't healthy. Which is fine if you're transparent about that all the way through. But now we're back into this Cam Rising situation, and I saw a bunch of – I was a little surprised by this, actually. I saw a bunch of Ute fans on the Snap Talk yesterday who were obviously frustrated with the injury dance. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but the scar tissue from the Cam Rising thing.
Yeah.
And it's true. And you know what it does is it casts blame for losses on – you're ducking behind an injury in this case, but all last year it was throwing Isaac Wilson right under the bus.
Right.
This is a championship caliber team if this buffoon weren't here doing this. And I don't like it. Let me put it that way. You lost the game. You didn't play well. The offense didn't play well. Try to be better and move on. I don't know. If you're not going to talk about injuries and you're not going to let people in, then you can't use it as an excuse.
Well,
my opinion.
I don't think Devon Dampier playing at whatever percentage he was at was the reason why Utah lost that game. Simply put, I don't think Devon Dampier at 100% makes up for the issues that Utah had in that game that were on display.
Well, maybe, but what you're implying is that, we lost because we couldn't throw. Well, he couldn't throw because his ankle was hurt.
Yeah, I just don't think that's the problem.
This is why I love Jerry Sloan's philosophy. And, he mentioned this all the time. If you're good enough to play, then it's 100%. You know what I mean? There's no, he played at 80%. Well, then don't play. That was why the Carlos Boozer thing ended up being such a controversy. Because Jerry's philosophy was, if you can't play, then don't play.
Yeah.
If you're at 80%, then don't play. If you suit up and play, I expect 100%. And John and Carl always leaned into that my ankle is 3 times its natural size, but Jerry expects 100%, so I better go pour it on. Carlos Boozer was like, I'm at 85 or 90, so, Jerry said if I'm not 100, I'm going to sit. It's the same policy, right? But I like that if you suit up and you go, you're expected to be 100%, no excuses.
Yeah, and Devon Dampier's not the only person playing with that level of injury. I'm sure, again, he's the quarterback. He's the most important player on the team. Last week I said if Utah was going to beat Texas Tech, it was going to take a huge Devon Dampier performance, not necessarily, throwing for 350 yards, but showing an ability to just control the game, control the tempo of the game, move the sticks when he needed to, make a couple of big throws, be able to control the ball on the ground. He didn't do any of that. You didn't see any of that against Texas Tech, and that's why it's not a huge surprise that they lost. I mean, you didn't see him play particularly well, I didn't think, and I don't think that. Again, I get that the ankle injury laid him up some. I don't think that by itself was the reason.
But that's the discussion. That's the crux. That's why they mention it. Did he not do those things that you expected him to do because he was hurt, or did he not do those things because he can't do them? Or didn't do it? Everybody can have a bad game, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I'm not trying to throw sand on on anybody. But he hasn't shown yet this year that he can make plays downfield. He just hasn't. So is that because he can't, or isn't good at it, or is it because he's hurt? That's why they mention it. So even if you want to think about it this way, and not that Utah would ever think about it this way, but you're telling West Virginia, you still have to guard this because he can do it. He was just hurt. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Because if he can't do it, then Utah's going to lose more games, like multiple more games. But if he's just hurt, well, hurt players get better, and that's where, you kind of feed your fans, well, this is a title team still.
And obviously, I think the discussion is far more nuanced than that. But yes, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, well, because they haven't scored 30 points in the league yet, ever. So at what point is that not fluky and that a trend?
Yeah, that's your identity.
That's what they're scared of.
Again,
that's what they're fighting against. That's why you mentioned the injury to begin with. It's not that we suck. It's, well, he's hurt. Right?
It's why I dismiss Iowa State football to a degree. As good as they are, and the fact that they can make the conference championship game, they don't score.
Have they scored 30 points at all in the last 2 years in league? My guess would be yes.
They're an elite defensive team year in and year out, but very rarely can they score enough points to blow teams out. That's just not what they do. They beat Utah last year 31-28. That might have been Utah's highest scoring game. But, yeah, that's what they do. If I go back to their season last year, they beat Central Florida 38-35. They scored 43 points against Baylor. But there are a lot of –
So that's at least 3.
But there's a lot of 20 points, 22 points.
But hold on, is 3 greater than 0?
No, absolutely, of course.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
They can do it, and they show the ability to do it, and it's why they're in the conference championship game.
I know that they teach math different these days, and that parents are very confused. But I think 3 is still greater than 0.
But you're right. Their inability to do it consistently causes me doubt, and Utah's going to have to prove that they can do it consistently. I mean, 30 points is not a crazy number in college football anymore.
It is not. Not only is it not a crazy number, but it is a low number.
Yeah.
It is a low number in college football. I mean, how many games has TCU had where they've scored less than 30? I'm just picking a random air raid team. Just because that's the style, is to score 100 points.
Right.
That's how college football works.
Yeah.
If you haven't gotten to 30 in league in a year in a game, that's wild.
Yep, it is.
You should accidentally get to 30, and especially because the Big 12 isn't exactly bringing all the greatest defenses in the country.
But, yes, between a pick six, a good special teams game, a blocked punt, an opposing team's mistakes, right, you should wake up.
A prevalent flu bug.
Yeah, you should have 30 points at some point.
Somehow.
Yep, I totally agree with you.
More next on Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Be listening tomorrow on a Win Ticket Wednesday. Your chance to win big every week on the KSL Sports Zone. Tomorrow we're going to be giving away tickets to Breaking Benjamin in 3 Days Grace live at Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater, September 27th. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day tomorrow for your chance to win. We are live at Belliston Jewelry. We're up here in Ogden. Coach Mental is going to join us in person at 11:30, so we're super excited for that. We're giving away Weber State rings to anybody who comes in and wants one. They are super sharp. 1155 36th Street in Ogden, but really on the corner of Harrison and 36th. It's super easy to find, super easy to get to, and we'd be excited to see you. Time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, BYU going to open conference play this weekend at Colorado.
This should be a big win for BYU. I just do not really believe in anything Colorado's doing. They have not looked very impressive. I know they just came off a win over Wyoming, They got hammered by Houston. They don't look particularly talented offensively. Yeah, they scored over 30 points in this last game against Wyoming, but I don't think that's particularly difficult to do. So I think it's just going to continue to be par for the course for BYU. I think they are steamrolling through the wins that they should be getting, and I think that I expect that to continue.
I haven't, granted, I haven't checked out a ton of Colorado yet this year, but has Dion brought a defense to the field at all? Has that happened yet?
Not really.
So, yeah, I expect BYU to win. Because I don't expect Colorado to be all that explosive offensively because defense is really good. So are they going to put the screws to the bear? If not, then I don't see any reason why BYU doesn't go into Colorado and win.
They held Georgia Tech to 27 points, and Georgia Tech, I think, is ranked now. So that's not a terrible, terrible performance. They did hold Delaware to 7, but like we said, Houston scored 36. Wyoming, who we saw really struggle to move the ball against Utah, scored 20. So I'm not totally, this isn't probably the worst defense BYU might see this year. We'll see what the rest of their schedule looks like. But, I mean, if Colorado doesn't score a touchdown, I'm not going to be terribly surprised, and their defense isn't going to be good enough to hold BYU to 10 points. So I don't see a situation where BYU is really going to get challenged here. Colorado is not talented enough. I don't think the Deion Sanders run's going to last terribly long in Colorado, and maybe I'll go gray saying that, but I think this is a game that BYU has designed itself to win easily. These are the types of games that BYU should be able to just roll in, expect a victory, and continue to move on with their season. This should be not an afterthought. You got to prepare appropriately, but historically you had talked about some upperclassmen quarterbacks that were average that have lit up BYU, and that's why it was a little bit of a change of what we saw with Hauser from East Carolina not being able to do that. I think you're going to see BYU continue to just handle business. And I think that's a real testament to what Kalani Sitake, Jay Hill, A-Rod, and everyone has built.
All right, only 4 games in, but let's play our favorite game,
okay.
the ranking. All right, where do you think Colorado ranks defensively 4 games in?
Nationwide.
So, this is basically total yards.
66th. Lower, 80th. 90th. 100th. 110.
112.
112. Again, out of about 130.
In total defense, 79th against the pass, 123 against the run.
Oof. So L.J. Martin's going to run for 1,000
Yeah,
yards.
I know.
Yep.
That's what. When I look at BYU this year, I'm trying to see which teams can take advantage of their glaring problem, which is experience at the quarterback position. Again, the Bear has played fine this year. Don't get me wrong. But do you have an aggressive defense that can confuse him, lead to mistakes? I don't think Colorado does. I would be surprised if BYU lost.
I don't think Bear Bachmeier is going to beat himself, but I also don't think BYU has run into anyone who can really give him any type of serious challenge.
Well, if they play against Texas Tech's D-line, that would be the type of scenario where I would predict BYU is going to have some trouble. I don't think that comes against the Buffs.
No, it will come for BYU, no question about it. BYU is not going to escape unscathed, and I'm not predicting losses. I'm just saying they're not going to be able to run through their schedule without facing a real challenge. That's not possible in the Big 12. While I don't think the Big 12 is necessarily murderer's row, you start going up against Arizona and Utah and Iowa State and Texas Tech and TCU. Those are good teams. I mean, those are teams that are capable of showing you different looks and trying to take advantage of Bear Bachmeier in a way that the teams BYU has played so far this season have not been able to, nor do I expect Colorado to be able to this weekend.
But I would like BYU's chances against TCU better than Iowa State.
Sure.
Does that make any sense?
Of course.
I think BYU has a better chance to beat teams that normally score, that they can bring to a screeching halt, and then the offense can do just enough to win. That's the recipe against good teams. And against Iowa State, that's going to be really hard for a freshman quarterback, just using an example.
And while BYU's not played perfect games so far, they've been non-fatally flawed. So I think that's the real promise so far.
All right, what's next?
Number 2, move over, Rusty. Jaxson Dart is the guy in New York.
Well, Rusty's terrible. It's not exactly the most glowing endorsement. But, when you draft a guy where they did, I think that's the right move. I think that's the direction you have to go. And Jaxson Dart had the impressive preseason. And Rusty had some moments, had the big game against Detroit or against Dallas. Now it looks like Dallas isn't any good, so it's not like that was a particularly great loss. And, man, his interceptions are still just crazy. You watch Rusty play, and it's pretty maddening to watch him sometimes. So, yeah, move on to Jaxson Dart.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Giants aren't doing anything this year.
Because I was going to ask you, are the Giants going to do anything this year?
No.
Well, then let Rusty take his punishment. Don't throw Jaxson Dart into the deep end on a failing team in a failing situation for him to go out and fail. I think this is a bad thing for Jaxson Dart. You brought Rusty in, and Jameis for that matter, to let them take the beating this year while your young quarterback figures it out. So I think this is reactionary New York stuff. This is why dysfunctional franchises are dysfunctional. And so what happens when Jaxson goes out and doesn't play like he did in the preseason? Because this just in, he won't. So where do they go now? And they still take L's. Well, those should be Rusty's L's. They're not going anywhere. What's the point?
If you value the development in live game scenarios, that's the argument. But as we have seen, I don't know if that necessarily translates good or bad.
Did it help Zach Wilson?
Right. No, not necessarily.
Did not playing help Jordan Love?
Probably.
Yes.
But there are a lot of players who we can't name because they never saw the field who we say, well, they should have gotten better. They were on the sideline. Why didn't they get better if they were just sitting and watching and holding a clipboard?
Playing in live games is not the only way to get better, and in fact, sometimes it makes it worse.
I totally agree with that, and I think that's the gamble you're making. It's why, again, I don't know if I would ever draft a quarterback in the first round. It's all a guess. It's at best a guess. But
I get it, because then you get to pick the one you want, and you get to pick the one that best fits.
Somebody wanted Josh Rosen. I don't know.
But throwing him in at the beginning on bad teams is not like here we can compare it to the Bear for a second, combining two conversations. If you're going to go with a true freshman, surround him with older players that are really good. The problem with a lot of these teams, like the Jets with Zach Wilson or the Giants with Jaxson Dart, is these are trash fires. He's going to fail.
So were the Washington Commanders, and Jaden Daniels goes in and it all gets fixed.
Nah, the Commies underperformed because, well, let me put it this way. They got new leadership, and they got more out of players, and they made better decisions. The Commies failed forever because they made just horrible decisions. Now, Jaden Daniels might be the exception to the rule, but I think the Commies had more talent than we acknowledged last year, and then it actually finally came out and played.
How many teams are truly poor teams, poorly run teams, that have been fixed by a single quarterback? And the Commanders are probably the best example, but you are right to note that a change of ownership was critical because it was so toxic and such a bad organization that maybe just eliminating the owner was a big help there.
They also got a new head coach.
They got a new head coach. Yeah, right.
It was a complete revamp.
Yes, you reset everything. So that by itself did not fix it. Joe Burrow has done a lot to help Cincinnati, but
we talked.
It's not perfect.
While you
were
out
Super Bowl.
While you were out of town last week, we had an NFL guy on, and I asked him. For once, we had an interview without you that I didn't embarrass myself.
Was it about the Broncos?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, well.
Strangely, it wasn't a Donks guest. It was a national guy, but I compared it to, because this is what I do, the Kennecott copper mine. You know how they mine stuff and then they mine the tailings. Like they mine for copper at first, but then they mine the tailings for whatever afterwards. There seems to be a market in the NFL for quarterbacks that were set back by dysfunctional franchises that end up in more functional situations and are perfectly capable quarterbacks.
I think the Colts are 3-0 right now, right, with Daniel Jones. So
I mean, directly applicable to this discussion.
Absolutely.
As Daniel Jones turns out to not be a buffoon when he gets to, and man, we're calling the Colts a stable franchise, but more stable than the Giants.
And they haven't beaten anybody. I mean, they beat Miami, who might be the worst team in the NFL. They beat Denver, who might be the second worst team in the NFL. And then they actually beat Tennessee, who is the worst team in the NFL. They haven't beaten anyone.
But you were calling Daniel Jones the worst quarterback to ever play football.
Absolutely.
And that obviously is not the case.
Not the case, right.
And you can look at Geno. Baker Mayfield has done nothing but make the playoffs for the Bucs.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
And then you look at the teams that initially drafted these guys, and then you go, oh, well, maybe that makes some sense because, Geno played for the Jets. I'm hoping Zach Wilson gets another bite at the apple with a decent franchise.
I think it's more of a testament that why you should never draft a quarterback in the first round. Just get somebody else.
Not if you're the Jets.
Just get somebody that somebody else has given up on and hope that they were just wrong.
If you're the Jets, I don't care if it's a can't-miss guy and you've got the number 1 pick. You should take a tackle because you're just going to flush that number 1 pick right down the toilet.
I think you're right.
Take a tackle and sign a veteran. All right, what's next?
Number 3, breaking news this morning. Fred VanVleet has torn his ACL and will miss the season.
Yeah, this is a huge loss, to get into NBA basketball outside of the Jazz. Houston was expected to be one of those teams this year that was competing in the West.
I don't think this changes that.
He's just the one guy who does that stuff on their roster.
Okay, I agree with that, but I'm going to steal a Ben Anderson take here.
Okay.
Fred VanVleet's fairly easy to find. Guards who can make plays and that sort of thing in today's day and age in the NBA are fairly easy to find. And if there is a blessing to an injury happening this early, Houston could replace what he does, or at least part of what he does.
Can try.
I'm not trying to undersell Fred
Sure.
VanVleet. I'm just thinking you'd way rather have him get hurt than Şengün.
Absolutely.
As ghoulish as
Yes.
that sounds.
Yes, and I thought, unfortunately for them, my thought was, they should have wished this happened a month ago before the Jazz traded Colin Sexton for nothing to the Charlotte Hornets. And I think Fred VanVleet's a better player than Colin Sexton.
They could probably still get Colin Sexton.
But yes, you can, and you can probably replace him some point in the middle of the season. But yeah, Fred VanVleet's won a championship with the Toronto Raptors. He's kind of run the show there. He was a big culture change for them after their kind of disastrous start under new ownership. So it's a big loss. And the hard part is he makes a lot of money. Right now with the NBA and the tax aprons and where Houston is in those tax aprons, it's just hard to go out and add players. It's hard to make trades anymore. So when you do have these types of injuries, they can be pretty significant. And it's going to take a lot of the wind out of the sails in Houston. I like Reed Shepherd that they drafted a couple of years ago with the number 3 overall pick, and I think, or I guess it was last year. He'll have a chance to step in and probably earn that role right away, and maybe he's just really good and able to do it. But yeah, it's a big loss. It's a potentially conference-shifting injury this early in the year.
Were you a big believer in Houston to begin with?
No. I'm not a big KD guy.
Yeah, I don't think KD gets him there. I think he's better than Jalen Green.
Yeah, he's way better than Jalen Green, but KD's not a leader of any kind, and I think they probably needed that. And Amen Thompson is awesome. He's a very cool player. He's not quite ready to make that jump into superstardom. I think we're probably still a year early on that, and everyone around the league seems to want to crown him as the next guy right now. There's even talk of him playing point guard. It's like, well, he can't shoot at all, and neither can Şengün. And I get that he's pretty dynamic with the ball in his hands. You just can't have 2 non-shooters on the floor. It's why, if we want to make this a Jazz conversation, I don't think Isaiah Collier is the point guard of the future. I like Isaiah Collier. I think he's a good pick at number 29, where they got him a couple of years ago. But if you can't shoot at all, you better have a team of dynamic shooters around you. And as you've talked about very astutely, Walker Kessler can't even make free throws. So until Walker Kessler can make free throws, let's not worry about his ability to space the floor as a three-point shooter. And if he's not going to be shooting threes, then you can't have 2 non-shooters on the floor. And that probably excludes Isaiah Collier, because as fun as what Isaiah does is, as fun as it is what Isaiah does, it's not more valuable than what Walker does. So you have to value Walker over him, and that's the same thing. Alperen Şengün's really a great player, and a big man is other than Kevin Durant's probably their best player on the team right now, even with Amen Thompson's rise. But you can't take away what Şengün does just to put the ball in Amen Thompson's hands.
They're a curiously constructed team, honestly. It's kind of the reason that I don't buy them long-term either.
They've drafted
Not
well.
at the moment.
They've got kind of a bunch of cool two-way players, which is what everyone in the NBA wants. Ime Udoka's a really good coach, but
Thompson's flawed. Oh, you just mentioned it. Like they're flawed.
And their big flaw has been they're a bad three-point shooting team, and they just lost a guy who is a great three-point shooter. So it's a huge loss. Yeah, it's going to be hard to overstate how important he is.
Bring Kyle Korver out of retirement.
Come back.
We know you're running the Hawks,
but we need you.
What do you think? All right, where's Malik Beasley? Is he?
He's free agent.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, go get Malik.
Little toxic, but he can shoot the ball. No?
Yeah, why not?
All right, we're live from Belliston Jewelry. We're super excited to be here, basically on the corner of 36th and Harrison, right here in Ogden, across the street from Weber State campus. We've got these awesome Weber State rings. You just drop by and we'll hook you up with one. They're great. You're going to love it. So come on by, see us. We'll talk to Joe coming up next. We'll talk to Mickey Mental at 11:30. He'll be here in person. We're super excited about that. More Jake and Ben coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies head to Nashville for a showdown against Vanderbilt. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Let's lock in.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Want to remind you to nominate the U Sports volunteer you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at kslsports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. Ben was... I thought, let me put it this way, I thought Ben was talking trash on his fiancée during the break. Ben said she had small fingers.
Very small.
And
hands,
I thought you were saying she had like stumpy fingers.
No.
And you were saying
she
she had
works with
very
saws.
Very thin fingers.
Just really thin, yeah. Short and skinny.
So you were actually in a way just complimenting her, but I thought you were dragging her there for a minute.
It's a little bit of both.
The Big 12 Power Poll is next.
Yes.
Jake and Ben, 97.5.
With some, hey, by the way, big breaking college football news.
Coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Who is climbing? Who is falling? And who just flat out stinks?
Some of y'all football sucks.
This is the Big 12 Power Poll with Jake and Ben on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Hanson, Scotty G coming up tomorrow for the Cougar Preview Show, brought to you by Beehive Meals. Ben, today we're live at Belliston Jewelry, 1155 36th Street here in Ogden, but really just on the corner of 36th and Harrison. Shout out to Ethan, who stopped by during the break. If you bring a 1-year-old by the show, the 1-year-old gets a shout out.
Absolutely.
Ethan.
All the listeners. So we've had several listeners already pop in, grab themselves a Weber State ring. It's been very cool.
Yeah. Find out what size you are.
Yeah.
Get hooked up. Awesome. We hung out with a grad from the class of 89.
When it was Weber College.
Yeah,
Weber
during
State
the break.
College.
So awesome stuff. Drop by and see us. Right now it is time for the Big 12 Power Poll, where we rank all 39 teams in the Big 12 from bottom to top. But before we get into it,
well, let's start.
Yeah, go ahead, Christian. Where are we starting?
Number 16, Oklahoma State.
Who is now head coachless.
They need a new head coach. Mike Gundy has been terminated.
I don't feel bad for Mike Gundy. He's got millions and millions of dollars, and he's not doing a good job. They just lost to Tulsa 19-12. It is a testament of, like you said, you can't just expect points, I guess. And Oklahoma State can't score. They couldn't score last year, and they hoped that just making some changes in the transfer portal would fix it. It didn't, and Mike Gundy had been complaining about other teams this year and how much money they spend and why it's not fair. It is still weird to me, though. There is still a part of me that's just like, man, you fired Mike Gundy? He's their Kyle Whittingham. He had been there as long as Whit had. He had had similar success. He had taken them to some new highs, and time just ran out.
This happens to all coaches who stay
crazy
where they're at for a long time. Eventually, the shine comes off. It just does. And with Mike Gundy, I think he is an example of somebody who did not adapt well to the modern college football.
I agree with you.
His act just, I don't think, plays well in the modern day of you can go anywhere and don't have to put up with stuff.
You said something off the air, which I think is very astute, which is there are a lot of happy people in that building today.
Oh, absolutely. There's people like staffers and stuff who were just celebrating because there's no way that dude wasn't impossible to work for.
I'm sure everybody was walking on eggshells all the time for 20 straight years. And to credit Whit, that's not been the case at all. And Whit has
that we know
adapted to modern football, and we'll see if he's able to get back to the success he had in the Pac-12, in the Big 12, as long as he stays. But he has adapted better
than Mike Gundy.
Than Mike Gundy did.
Yeah, I would say that.
So a major move. I mean, that's a huge story. Mike Gundy was a staple in college football. Not unlike Bruce Pearl, who quit yesterday.
You mean the next senator of Alabama?
Apparently he's not going to do it. But you know what? I wouldn't rule out a political run for Mike Gundy either at some point. Anyways, Oklahoma State this weekend will be taking on Baylor, so I think they're going to fall to 1-3.
What's next?
Number 15, Kansas State.
They're coming off a bye. They are also 1-3. They have had maybe the worst start other than Clemson in college football among teams that were probably expected to be able to make some noise. Both of those teams are 1-3. They're taking on Central Florida. Central Florida is undefeated. This is a sneaky good game.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't expect these teams to compete for the Big 12 title, but I think this is a game where Kansas State really could fall to Central Florida, and the wheels would be fully off if they're not already.
Kansas State, do you think they could have a chance to be last year's Kansas, where they were stinky out of the gate and then pulled it together to ruin everybody's conference run late?
100%.
Be interesting.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Number 14, Colorado.
2-2. They beat Wyoming 37-20. They needed to stop the bleeding, and they did. But I think BYU is going to inflict some pain on them.
Yeah, don't have much of a defense, apparently. And when you don't have Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders to keep up on the scoreboard, it might be a long season for Neon Deion.
I think BYU is gaining momentum. I think they're getting better and better and better because Bear Bachmeier's getting more experienced, and I think Colorado's going to be their latest victim.
Who's next?
Number 13, Cincinnati.
1-2 straight. They're coming off a bye, though, and then they go on the road at Kansas, who...
This should be a tough game.
I agree. Kansas had a disappointing loss where they lose to Missouri a couple of weeks ago. That's not unforgivable, but I think Kansas is probably okay, and I expect them to be better than Cincinnati.
Next.
Number 12, West Virginia.
This was bizarre.
I wish I could have ranked them lower. I had them at what did I have them at? 12 too, and I wish I was unimpressed with West Virginia.
To beat Pitt, look like okay, maybe Rich Rod knows what he's doing. I think we sang his praises maybe a little bit too much last week, and we did the power poll on Thursday because I was gone for the first couple of days of the week. For them to come back and respond with an absolute stinker, a total no-show, 41-10 and a loss to Kansas it's a type of inconsistency that doesn't really give you a lot of confidence that they're going to be able to put it together, at least not in year one under Rich Rodriguez, this is, I guess, is a little bit of a dangerous game for Utah. Utah's going into a bye week after this. You hope you don't overlook it for the bye week, especially if you have an injured quarterback with a bad ankle in Devon Dampier. You hope you don't say, well, we're double-digit favorites over West Virginia. I think it's like 15 points, 16 points. It's a big spread. You hope if you're a Utah fan you don't overlook it, but it could be dangerous if they get up for the game.
Witt wasn't always entirely successful against old Rich Rod.
No, he was not.
But I don't think I don't think Rich Rod has a great team. They changed over 70 players. I mean, the win over Pitt, I guess, I think you're right, was a little fool's gold.
And Pitt
like I said, I wish I could have ranked them lower. All right, what's next?
Number 11, Baylor.
Also a little all over the map so far early this season. And you know what? To your credit, which I hate to give, you had said, that win over SMU might not mean anything. And you know what we're learning? That win over SMU might not mean anything. That's kind of their signature win that they have so far this season. But they did just lose at home to Arizona State 27-24. They did not look particularly good. They needed to get a stop late. They couldn't do it and get off the field or hold Arizona State to stop them from being able to put themselves in field goal position. So that's not great, but it's a great remedy. Go play Oklahoma State. Make everyone feel better.
Get right game.
It's a good week.
Good get-right game for old Baylor.
But this is disappointing. 2-2 is a disappointing start for Baylor.
Next.
Number 10, Central Florida.
The biggest surprise so far in the Big 12? Not that they've beaten anybody.
Yeah, I don't know how good Central Florida is. They were better than the adult novelty eras.
By a lot.
Yeah.
25 points. So I'll take that. 34-9 is a good win. That's a win you can probably kind of build off of a little bit. Again, not that North Carolina is any good. They are not. They are a terrible, terrible team. But it should put a little confidence in your roster that, hey, the coach knows what he's doing. We're going to listen to what he's actually saying next week. So we'll see if Central Florida can continue to build on it. Again, sneaky good game against Kansas State. If Central Florida wins this, they should be thinking bowl game for sure this season, which was a stretch from where they were last year.
Do you think that Bill Belichick sneakily, to use your word, enjoys public humiliation? I think maybe he actually likes it. I mean, why else would you release those yoga pictures on the beach? Remember those?
I do. I can see that. his little thing is like, actually, yes, I know I'm the greatest football coach of all time, but I want you to see this side of me.
But I actually
Remember
enjoy.
the one he's holding a fishing pole and she's like in a mermaid costume?
Yeah, I think maybe he might like it. Like, why else would you make out with her in the tunnel before the game? I guess they didn't technically make out, but shared a tender moment. Maybe he just likes it. He's got a bad team.
What's next?
Number 9, Kansas.
3-1, hammered West Virginia 41-10 to get the wheels back on the track. I think they're going to beat Cincinnati this weekend. Again, you and I are not super impressed by Cincinnati, but they are 2-1. We'll see. Kansas is going to be probably more. I think Kansas is more of a spoiler this year than a true,
Oh, I don't know. I think they
threat
could
to win the Big
You're
12.
usually the Jayhawk guy. I think they could win the league
I know,
because
I've
there's
been
just
burned to 'em
not.
by too many times.
There's just not a team that who couldn't Kansas beat. They could beat any team in the league.
I'll have to look at their schedule too and see who they actually get to play.
It's the weird part about this Big 12 is half the league could win it.
Let's see, Kansas.
At least this last couple of years.
The rest of the year, Central Florida, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Arizona, Iowa State, Utah. The fact that you catch Texas Tech, Arizona, Iowa, they're just gonna lose some of those games.
I would guess so too, but none of those games are unwinnable.
No, you're right, and this has got to be wrong. I think I've got too many home games for them looking at their schedule, but yeah, we'll see which one of those games are home. That'll be the big deal.
Next,
Number 8, Houston.
Willie Fritz undefeated.
Good for them, and they're going to go play at Oregon State this weekend. Oregon State is probably
They should roll the
next to
Beavs.
Portland State, the worst team in college football. And I know Oregon State's playing at a different level, but Oregon State's winless. They can't score the ball in the slightest. So yeah, I expect
Willie
Houston
Fritz.
to crush them, move to 4-0.
4-0,
Yeah,
our
that's
guy.
great. No, that's really good.
They found a little bit of an offense. Look out for Houston. I think Houston could win the league. Again, not putting that as likely, but it is certainly possible.
I'm firmly putting them in the spoiler category, but that's a fun role to be in.
Next,
Big drop here for number 7, Utah.
They were at number 2 last week. They didn't look good against Texas Tech. You score 10 points at home and really are unable to move the ball other than a late drive in the first half, which resulted in a field goal that they initially missed and required a roughing the kicker to move up 15 yards to make it a much easier field goal. Special teams becoming a little bit of a question mark for Utah. And then, the late drive in the fourth quarter, which, it counts. It cut the game to 3 points, but you just did not see any consistency from that team.
they didn't. Utah didn't look good. I moved them down to 7. This is where I had them. If they don't have an offense, then they can drop even further. That's the hard part. If they find an offense, Utah's one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, because the defense, I think, is really good.
But they couldn't move the football for basically all 4 quarters against Texas Tech.
They really couldn't move it for all but one drive.
Yeah. You're not going to win a whole lot of games if you can't move the ball at
you're
all.
Not. And I'm a believer in Texas Tech, so I didn't want to punish Utah, but terribly far. But I think we all had them at 7 other than Christian. I mean, you and I both are in agreement. I think that's right where about they are. Maybe the top half of the middle class of the Big 12 through 4 weeks.
Next.
Number 6, Arizona.
3-0, coming off a bye. Fun game this weekend on the road at Iowa State. Maybe the best game in the Big 12.
Yeah, Arizona has a chance to be a decent team.
Yeah, they do.
Make last year look like a blip as opposed to back to business as usual for the Wildcats.
Well, certainly as we question, who's a pretender, who's a contender, Arizona goes on the road and wins at Iowa State, absolutely contender status, and maybe the front runner with Texas Tech to be that favorite.
Next.
Number 5, Arizona State.
3-1. I probably should have had Arizona State behind Arizona.
Yeah, they were kind of interchangeable. I thought about that too. I had Arizona State above them for now. I mean, their loss isn't a horrific loss, Mississippi State. It's not a great one.
It's not a great one. But Arizona State hasn't lost. Arizona has not lost.
But they haven't had a game I don't think as difficult as Mississippi State.
Agreed. They didn't go on the road and play them.
Right.
No. So we'll see this weekend. They take on TCU again, another pretty good game.
Next.
Number 4, TCU.
Yeah, speaking of TCU, a bunch of these teams probably pretty interchangeable in this. I don't know if we're in the first tier, but this kind of, tier of teams we're trying to figure out exactly how serious they are about competing.
Yeah, and TCU can score. It's how bad is their defense and how much can they score, and that's how TCU is going to win or lose. And so far, they've scored a bunch of points. So
we liked Baylor's win over SMU. TCU just beat them 35-24, beat them by even more. So we'll see. Maybe SMU is just not particularly good, but it's a nice win to have. And again, TCU on the road at Arizona State. Great game.
Next.
Number 3, BYU.
Look good against East Carolina. Defense looks awesome.
Yeah, defense is one of the best in the country.
It's a similar story to Utah. Can they move the ball enough, score enough points to win games? And so far, it looks like, yeah. We'll see if that continues into league play. I don't expect it to stop against Colorado.
The offense scored every 4 plays against Portland State. Again, that's maybe the worst college football team I've ever seen. East Carolina and Stanford, they've broken 30 points, but not by a lot on average. So we'll see. We haven't seen like a great offensive performance, but they certainly have not needed it.
No.
The defense hasn't even made it a question mark.
30 points is going to win BYU most games in the league this year.
The question is, can you bet on the defense to score every game?
I don't think so.
No,
but
you can't.
Can you bet on the offense to get to 30 most nights?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, it's a big question.
All right, next.
They're at Colorado this weekend.
Number 2, Texas Tech.
Crushed Utah. I think this is the best win so far in the conference. I don't even just mean in conference play. I mean in general of any team in the Big 12 this season. I think beating Utah 34-10 in a very hostile environment was super impressive.
I actually moved them down. I was unimpressed.
You voted against them.
I was unimpressed. I moved them down.
You did vote. You did move them down.
I did.
You are the reason why they are not the number 1 team in the league, because had you given them anything other than the 4th ranking, which is behind TCU and Arizona State, they would have been the number 1 team.
What can I tell you, Ben? They don't even know who their quarterback is.
I think they should.
They beat a team that couldn't move the football.
Yeah, they did. But they also...
They honestly could not score for 3 quarters, more or less. I mean, they were not that great. This is a bit of a troll vote, admittedly.
Of course
but
it is.
I hear the narrative going around circles around here that Texas Tech is the 85 Bears, and they're all of a sudden going to steamroll the rest of the league. I'm not there yet. Their defensive line was really good.
It was really good.
Their defensive line was really good, but I didn't see them dominate offensively. What I saw offensively is they had to wait for the Utah defense to break down and get tired.
Did, and then they moved the ball really easily.
They moved the ball. The final score was actually misleading, and I don't know. It's not hard to stop a one-dimensional team. It's just not. So I didn't come away thinking that they were the greatest thing since sliced bread. That is legit. I mean, they were better than Utah. They are better than Utah. But I don't think they're all of a sudden running away at the league.
I think that's fair.
Next.
Number 1, still number 1, Iowa State.
4-0, coming off of a bye week. Good game this weekend against Arizona.
We'll find out if they're somewhat legit this week.
Yeah. They should. They're at home. They should beat Arizona.
I would think so.
Yeah.
That's not a gimme by any means, though. That was more of a gimme last year. Arizona's a lot better.
How many gimmies are there in the Big 12 right now?
Half the league.
You think?
Well, there are 25 teams in the league.
Oklahoma State's a gimme. Kansas State might be a gimme.
Yeah, it's probably 10 on down. Central Florida, Belore, West Virginia, Cincinnati, Colorado.
Do you think those are gimmies?
For the most part. At least that's how it looks right now.
Okay.
What? You're saying Kansas State? You've been hating on Kansas State for weeks now. Actually, didn't you vote them number 1 like 2 weeks ago?
I did. 3 weeks ago. But, yeah, I think Colorado and Oklahoma State might be the only gimmies. Maybe West Virginia gets there. But I think those other teams are going to be dangerous. Rich Rod's going to be dangerous again. I know I said maybe West Virginia falls in that group.
Not this year.
Baylor could be dangerous. I think they're going to be able to score a little bit, though they only managed 24 points. We'll see. We'll see if Central Florida's for real.
All right, review of the top 10, Christian.
Top 10, number 10, Central Florida. Number 9, Kansas. Number 8, Houston. Number 7, Utah. Number 6, Arizona. Number 5, Arizona State. Number 4, TCU. Number 3, BYU. Number 2, Texas Tech. And number 1, Iowa State.
Go Cyclones.
Flawless. Another flawless Big 12 power poll.
Yeah, I would agree.
I hope Moe Jaguar finds this.
Well, I'm going to put out the actual votes this for the first time.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going to say
you're going to do that.
Jake put
Are you?
Texas Tech 4th to see if our friends from Texas Tech will come after Jake once again.
What? I'm supposed to be blown away by that offense? I don't think so.
You don't have to be. You don't have to feel anything. Those bozos.
Exactly. I'm the one with a vote on the silly
You're
power
right.
poll,
You
not
absolutely
them.
are. Nope, you're exactly right. You're holding the microphone.
Mickey Mental, head coach of Weber State, is coming up next. It's Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What's that? Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, live from Belliston Jewelry, 1155 36th Street, right here in Ogden, basically on the corner of Harrison and 36th. We're a stone's throw away from the Weber State campus. If you stop by and see us, we're going to hook you up with these awesome Weber State rings. We'll hook you up with the ring. If you're a Wildcat fan, trust me, you're going to love this. And we're hoping to talk to Coach Mickey Mental coming up here in a moment. We've been told he's en route. We're going to get to see him in person, which is going to be fun, Ben, especially because they're coming off a big win.
Yeah, nice to have back-to-back wins, start to stack wins. I've got to imagine that feels good, unless you're talking about the Browns win over the Green Bay Packers, which might be the biggest win of the weekend for Coach Mental.
He is a big Browns guy.
So we'll have to ask him about that. Hey, quickly, for Utah fans out there, Chris Anderson from 24/7 Sports, who covers West Virginia, on Rich Rod's West Virginia injury report, their starting quarterback, their top 3 running backs, two of their top 4 receivers, 3 starting offensive linemen, and their co-starter at tight end are all hurt. So
that's not good.
Might be a skeleton crew for West Virginia.
So that's not good.
Not ideal.
Well, Utah needs a game where they got to put it back on the tracks. They got to figure something out offensively. What's their go-to going to be? What's their mojo? They got to put some stuff on tape. Got to make it happen. So probably not a bad time to get West Virginia,
especially going into a bye week.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look who is in the house right now. In fact, let's hit his open so we can say hello to him off the air. Go ahead, Christian.
It's time to catch up with the head coach of the Weber State Wildcats, Mickey Mental, presented by Belliston Jewelry on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Oh, my man. All right, joining us now on headset, live in person. He's the head coach of the Weber State Wildcats, coming off a big win over Butler at home, it had to be nice to be home. But Mickey Mental with us live at Belliston Jewelry. Coach, it's great to see you.
Appreciate it. Good to see y'all.
Appreciate you coming down and hanging out with us for a little bit. Yeah, stacking a couple of wins now. That's got to feel really good after we talked about how difficult your travel schedule was to start the year. Getting a couple of victories in a row. Can you tell when it's like 2 in a row versus just kind of a one-off?
Absolutely, right. You got a little bit more pep in the facility, and guys are a little bit more locked in, and but we're excited about the opportunity to play against a great UC Davis team this weekend.
Do you credit that for the you guys got off to a really good start? Is that what it is? Coming out, emotion, home, all that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's one of our goals. We want to stay undefeated at home, and we made that a real big emphasis this offseason. It's one of our 5 goals that we want to accomplish this season, and we got a really good group that are together and connected, and I think playing in front of their home fans is a little bit nicer than going on the road to Virginia, Louisiana, or Arizona.
I'm sure every victory is nice, but when you have a game like you did against McNeese State where they make a crazy push, to then answer it back where, again, Butler tries to make a push and you guys just close the door, is it nice to see, like, we put that in practice, we tried to talk about how important it is, and then it gets executed right away?
Yeah, growth. The offense kind of stumbled in the second half, found a drive late off a big run by Godley. They got us in the red zone, and then Boogie finished it off, so that was a 2-score game. And then the defense got a 4-and-out basically, and then we finished the game on a 2-minute or a 4-minute drive again. So back-to-back when we had the opportunity to finish the game offensively last week against McNeese, and then the defense kind of put the game away. So 2 really good growth moments.
I'm curious about facilities. You mentioned playing at home, and I know Weber State has invested in those facilities up there over the last, 10 years or so. How do they stack up against the Big Sky or other places you go?
Really, really. I think we got the best facilities in FCS, to be honest with you. The administration, Tim, have done a fantastic job of making these guys' quality of life really nice. Everything's in one spot: eating, training, academics, meetings, like they don't have to go more than 120 yards. So I think that just speaks to the volume of the support we have at Weber.
When you're out recruiting kids, like I grew up in Salt Lake, so I didn't grow up far from Ogden, but I didn't spend a lot of time here. When you're out recruiting kids, I mean, and I love Ogden now. I've got family up here now. When you're recruiting to Ogden, what are you telling them? What are you telling them what the city's like and what they should expect? I
mean, it's kind of the best of both worlds in my personal opinion, and I'm not an outdoors person, but if that's what you kind of want to gravitate to, you have hunting, fishing, hiking right here in Ogden. If you're a city boy like me, you got Salt Lake City 20 minutes away, you got downtown Ogden 10 minutes away, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. And most of the time in college, like I tell a lot of guys, you're gonna make your college experience what you want of it. If you want to stay in your dorm room and stay there, then you're gonna do that. If you want to go out, if you want to hike, fish, or do any of that, but the opportunities are here at Weber.
If it were me, I would lead with there's this super sick jewelry store that is right across the street from campus, which is just service all of your jewelry needs.
Agreed.
Let's talk about league, because you guys are going to get started in league. What does the Big Sky look like this year? I mean, I know it's always tough, but what does it look like this particular year?
I think it's the most parity in the 4 years I've been here. Top to bottom, you don't have a week off. You know, there's no gimme game. It's competitive. It's well coached. The travel's awesome. The sceneries are awesome. I think it's the best FCS conference in America.
You mentioned Davian Godley breaking out 193 yards in this last game. What was it? What was the difference that you saw from him versus what you've seen? 'Cause 22 carries against McNeese State, that's a lot, but the production wasn't there. What did you see over the weekend?
Played it a little different. McNeese had their safeties really low. That's why we were able to hit a couple deep shots on him. But I think there was probably ballpark without seeing it. There's probably 50 to 60 yak yards after contact from a secondary position. So I think that was huge. I think up front, getting him to the second level clean was really good. So I think he was in a groove that game, and you got to feed that guy at that point in time.
You guys have a late one, 8 o'clock start at UC Davis. Now, in the Big Sky, you get those wonderful afternoon times that are also great. What's playing a little later? Is that tricky?
No, this is the second time I've been there. I think it's a heat thing out there. I think they just sold out last week for the first time ever. They had 17,000, so I'm expecting a really good atmosphere. Coach does a fantastic job there. So we know what we're in store for, and we're excited for it.
Do you think your players have a text chain where they're like, the Browns won, he's going to be in a good mood? Like, do you think they know, like, they speak Green Bay? Everyone cheers because you're going to come back on Monday and you're going to be in a great mood. It's going to be a great week of practice.
The only guy that was disappointed was Jaxson because he's a Packers fan.
Okay.
His parents are from Wisconsin, so I got to talk a little mess for a day.
That's a big win.
No, it's a
huge win.
That had to be the most unexpected win of the weekend, I'd have to say.
And it was a Utah State quarterback that lost, so that's kind of nice.
That's gravy on top, right?
That's not so bad either.
When they blocked the field goal, I'm like, man, we got shot. And then the kicker redeemed himself from week one. So,
well, you and the Browns quarterback are about the same age, no?
Me, Flack? Yeah, Flack's got more yardage than me. He's got a nice paycheck. We're not even talking about the Brownies, though, in Cleveland. It's all about the Indians right now.
Yeah. Right, it's right around the corner.
Well, like the biggest comeback in Major League Baseball history, something like that? Weren't they like 12 games out in July?
Yep.
And now they're a game away from winning the division?
Yep.
That's pretty wild. Baseball's crazy.
It's the AL Central, look on.
Yeah, it is. It's a little.
My White Sox are in the division. It's not exactly murderer's row. It's not. Yeah, okay, you beat the Royals. We'll see what happens.
The Twins sold their whole team at the trade deadline. I mean, but
it's not nothing. Not nothing.
Coach, do you know your ring size? We got to get you. We got to get you hooked up with a Weber State ring.
I don't know. This is the only ring I wear.
Well, you could go with the charming bracelet as well.
There you go. Nice.
But we're hooking all our listeners come in today get hooked up with a Weber State ring.
Nice.
So they get a
rep. Get on in here.
Yeah, it's very cool.
They're blowing it out here. We love it that they're a partner with us and specifically sponsoring your appearance on the show.
No, absolutely. Coach, so. It's a great store, and you guys got to get down here.
Well, listen, you're nice to come by.
Yeah,
It's,
really
it's great
appreciate
to
it.
see you, you know?
Right? Put a face with the name.
Yeah, we get used to your voice. It's so nice to see you.
For sure.
And seriously, we appreciate it. We know it's a long trip for you right across the street from campus.
All 3 minutes.
Yeah, so super nice of you. There you go, the coach, Mickey Mental. We'll have more coming up next from Belliston Jewelry. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes hit the road for a battle against West Virginia. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two niggas on the airways, talking sports. They got it made Jaxson also loves his tie guy. Ben's got style with his scarf. Oh my.
Hey, good morning, Jake and Ben. Quick question. Just wondering why you guys aren't live streaming on the old YouTube. I see DJ and PK do it this morning, but I'm not seeing your video. Are you guys camera shy? Have a good day, guys. Oh, I didn't realize the guys were on location today and not in the studio, so that makes sense. My bad, guys. Love you guys. Bye.
Love you, Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Thanks for making the call in. We appreciate it. What's up? You guys aren't on camera. Oh, you're on location. All right. So sorry.
Yeah, Jake's got a boil right now on his face.
I do. It's huge.
No one wants to see
Shout out to Matt. Thanks for, always use the call in. We love hearing from our listeners.
And watch us on YouTube. Yeah, honestly.
Absolutely.
If you're at work or whatever, you want to throw it up on the old laptop or on your phone.
Do it up.
Do it up. Yeah, very easy to do.
But we were live at Belliston Jewelry on the corner of Harrison and 36th Street. Big thanks to Mickey Mental, who was with us live on site. It was so fun to hang out with Coach. What a good dude. Belliston Jewelry brings you his interview each and every week right here on the Jake and Ben Show. We're going to talk to Joe here in a second, Ben, but I've got one story for you.
Funny to hear Coach call himself a city boy. He doesn't sound like a city boy.
No, he does
He
not.
says, I'm a city. You? Really? Huh. Okay.
I like it. He's like, I don't like the outdoors, but I'll tell the guys. Yeah, you got access to all that stuff.
You, me, Mickey Mental, we should all go hunting.
No, I mean downtown Ogden should be a
Up all of
selling
our
point.
alleys.
Like if you're a city boy, come to
man,
downtown
I love
Ogden.
it.
Let's
Yeah.
check it out.
I'm with you.
One quick story, Ben, and this might be maybe this is a candidate for Bozo of the Week. Maybe.
Okay.
I might nominate Joe Dumars.
Okay. Well, yeah.
The general manager of the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Who made the world's little reset, made the world's stupidest trade on draft night.
Draft night, he traded 10 spots up in the draft to get a guy who may have fallen to them anyways for an unprotected pick in this year's draft, the A.J. DeBonsa, Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson draft. And by the way, the Pelicans are awful. Anyways.
Joe
was
asked if, because of that, he expected to make the playoffs. Joe said, quote, "No, I've not put that expectation on anyone. It wasn't like, okay, we made this trade, I expect to make the playoffs. That's short-sighted to me."
No, Joe, that's the opposite of short-sighted.
Why didn't you protect the pick, Joe?
Yeah, right. Short-sighted is
Short-sighted
trading for a trade now, not realizing what's going to happen just a year from now. That's the definition of short-sighted, Joe.
And by the way, and I didn't know this until I followed up with a story, and my buddy Dan Devine reported this, that the Hawks were so shocked that the Pelicans didn't protect the first-round pick, they called back 3 times to make sure that was the case. They triple-checked. Like, are you sure you don't want to protect that pick, Joe? Joe's like, nope, unprotected. And then, okay. So that would have been like if you used the Cortez comparison, like you burn the ships because you're going to make this.
Well, you can't retreat.
You can't retreat.
Yeah.
It'd be like Cortez burning his ships and being like, well, I'm not eliminating the idea of going back.
We may need to go back.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm not ruling out going back.
I'm not setting the expectation of staying.
But you burned the boats.
But the boats are gone. Yeah, I'm still not going to set that expectation.
Doesn't that seem short-sighted? No, not at all.
What?
What are you talking about?
And you know what? I like Joe Dumars. I liked him as a player, and I actually thought he did a really good job for the Pistons for a while as their general manager.
He did.
had some controversial moves, but let's not forget that they have a title and that they went to the Eastern Conference Finals like 4 years in a row.
They went to two finals. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals a bunch.
Like, he didn't do a bad job all the time in Detroit.
Exclusively with cast-offs as well. Exclusively with other teams' guys.
And so I don't really have any love for the Pelicans, but I was kind of secretly cheering for this to work for Joe Dumars. I mean, he kind of deserved another bite at the apple. He's a championship-winning executive, you know? But to make that ludicrous trade, which to your credit on draft night, you pointed out immediately.
It just didn't make sense. I did the same thing. Not unprotected. Because you probably could have done that for a lottery-protected pick. It's like they would have taken it.
They would have done it.
Yeah, great. And future first, we'll take it.
To drop 10 spots or whatever it was?
Yeah,
absolutely. Just madness. That trade was just madness.
Yep.
So to follow that up with, no, I'm not setting the expectation to make the playoffs. Why would I do that? Because you traded your undrafted pick.
Everything. You burned the boats. You burned the boats,
So
Joe.
you're just going to hand Atlanta a lottery pick?
Sounds like it. It certainly sounds like it. DeJounte Murray's not going to be back and fully healthy.
That is bananas.
No, again, the West is stacked. You know, there's going to be injuries here and there, but the problem is that the main injury in the West seemingly every year is Zion Williamson. I mean, that's something you can set your watch to. So the Pelicans, they're not going to be as bad as the Jazz, I don't think, but they're not going to be a whole lot better.
That's one of the wilder takes I've seen.
If the Jazz had moved up from what they had the 21st pick last year, or in this last draft when they drafted Walt Clayton, I think they moved up to 19 to get him. But yeah, can you imagine if they had traded this year's unprotected first to move up to 12? There's a guy we like. Who? Who do you like that much? So
you guys must be pretty confident you're going to make the playoffs by making that move, huh? No, actually not.
I wouldn't put that on anybody.
No, wouldn't do that. Good gravy.
Yeah.
What a ludicrous statement.
Yeah.
Hans and Scotty G are coming up next.
Thanks, Christian.
We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.